Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. So we got our coffee cups going. We got our logo shirts going. We're ready for a little technical bite from Komprise and a cup of coffee together. So let's kick this thing off. So Glenn and I were talking the last couple of weeks and thinking, what are we going to talk about today? Well, there's a little nugget, little secret, a little best kept secret at Komprise called Confine. And so the topic we're going to talk about today is going to be about a 10-minute discussion, and we're going to give you an idea. What is this confined function all about? What the heck is it? Do people use it? What do they use it for? And more importantly, not just slideware, we're going to show you a demo of how to set it up, how to use it, what it does, where the files go, and things like that. So the confine statement is a function that allows users to go out and find that hoarded data that's been sitting out there for a long time that's just meaningless. They just don't need it. Maybe it's student data at universities has been sitting there loitering for 10 years on the primary storage. It could be some old log files, trace files, things that you just want to clean up, and you want to do it in a declarative programming paradigm, meaning you set it once, but then from then on, any old file that meets 10 years old, it's going to be automatically cleaned up for you, and you don't have to worry about cleaning that up any longer. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And so we'll pass this over to Glenn to show you exactly how to use the confine function and what it does. So Glenn, let's pass it over to you, man.
All right. Thanks.
Did I forget to mention something, Glenn?
Yeah, I was about to mention it as I get into this. Hold on, let me get this started up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so before we get going on this, I know in the past there's been some issues with resolution. If you, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there should be an option to lock in resolution at a particular resolution. So if you put in like 1080p, lock that in, then it should clear up for you instead of doing auto. I'm going to jump right in here though. So like Randy mentioned, we have a capability called Confine, and honestly, as we're going through demonstrations and talking to customers, we might mention it briefly, but it's not something that we key on, but it's really useful in particular situations. This is our main screen here, our famous dynamic donut. You get the amount of data that we've analyzed and information around the outside here about the age of the data that we've analyzed here. So this is our main screen that we focus on with customers and demos, and even when you get it in place, this is the main place where you go to manage the solution. But sometimes, again, there's data that's out there that are candidates more for deletion than archive. It's information that you don't even necessarily want to use our patented transparent move technology to archive and still leave accessible. You actually just want to get rid of it. And the Komprise confine function helps you do that. First of all, you got to find the data that you want to remove, and the usage tab is a great place to go to find that information. So when you come over to the usage tab, we're breaking down data. We're going beyond just the overall age of the data, but we're focusing on information about the location of the data, ownership, size. What we're going to focus on here is the file type. File type, there's some real nuggets here to find data that you can delete and free up space immediately and use this confine function that we keep talking about. So when I go to files by type, space consumed by file type, you see several categories here. We've talked before about virtual machine. This is a great category to go to. If you've got data in here and you're showing blue, which blue means your data's cold, then you've got old OVAs and things of that nature. You can go and find those. Easy way to save some space. But what we're going to focus on here is log data. So what I have in this environment here is I've got some log data. You see the third item down here is log, and the red item is the red category is data that's been accessed in less than a month. So log data, generally speaking, you keep around for days or weeks or maybe a month, but there's no real need to keep log data around for more than a month in most shops. So you see there's a lot of my log data I'd say a good 90% of my log data here hasn't been accessed in over a month. So this is a good candidate for deletion. You know, keep deleting the log data and keeping that wherever the log data resides, keeping that old log data out, keeping it clean. So next step is use Komprise to find out where that data resides. So I've got log data. I know I've got some old log data out there. Let me hop over to Deep Analytics and find out where that log data resides. So I can come in here. Deep Analytics allows you to query data based on 11 different query attributes. You can use one or many of these attributes and get file level results from this. But what I'm going to use Deep Analytics for is to find the location of that log data. So I'm going to come in here and do a query by file type and say log. So I get a list of all my log data here. And now I want to find out where this is located. So I can come here and get a feel for where the data is located by going to my list of top 1,000 files. And this will give me a list of the data. But what I'm going to use here is I can, by default, we just load the fast loading graphs. But I can come over here and say all graphs, and I get graphs here at the bottom that show me information about the data by size and type and file extension and things like that. But what's really interesting here is, and what I'm looking for is the location. So here is space used by top shares. I see here I've got quite a bit of hot log data here in this location, but a lot of cold in this location. So this location is a Spearwind 2016-2 test share logs directory. So this is a share that I have that has some log data on it, and it's a good candidate for deletion. I've got a lot of old log data in it. Okay, so now I know where it's located. Let me come over to my plan tab. And in my plan tab, I've got multiple groups configured over here on the left. One is configured for Confine. So in each of these groups are basically groups of shares that you can treat differently. You can set different policy for. So within Confine, I have a share configured. It is that test share logs directory. And within my group, I have 3 different capabilities. I can do the move, which is my archive function. I can do copy, which is replicate. And then at the bottom is confine. So what confine does is based on this policy, I point it to a share. I set a policy, not accessing over a month. And based on that policy, I'll move data to a folder. The folder is called Komprise trash or .comprise trash. And the dot's important because it hides the share from normal users. So if I go to look at that directory, here's my, sorry about that. Go and find that directory so I can see what it looks like. Test share logs. Okay, I've got 647 log files in here. If I sort them by last accessed, I see, yeah, there's a lot of old log data in here. So go through my checks. Okay, I do want to do a confine. So confine is going to move the data from this folder into that trash folder. From the trash folder, then I can do different things with it, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So let me go ahead and launch this. So by default, it'll run, this process will run once a week, but I'm going to go ahead and run it now to make sure that it runs while we're on the call here. So I'll go to my test share logs. I tell it to transfer. This will trigger the confine function. If I come back over to my share now, I see number of items shrinking. So now I went from 647 down to 94 items in this folder. So I've essentially removed the data, the old log data from this folder. And now once a week, I'll go through here, find any new log files that meet that criteria, and I'll remove those as well. So where did they go? We talked about the .comprise folder, Komprise trash folder. I don't see it here. It's because by default in Windows, you don't see that information. You hide any folders with a dot at the beginning. So I'm going to come here and change my options so I see that folder. I'm going to come over here to view, and instead of don't show hidden files and folders, I'm going to show them. And so now I should see at the top, here it is, Komprise trash. And if I go into my Komprise trash folder, here's all abracadabra, right? Here's all the files that I removed from that folder and I put into the trash folder. Now, if this is a one-off scenario and I want to come in here, I can come in here and actually clean this up by just, Control A and hitting delete. But a lot of times what we'll want to do is make this programmatic. So basically what Komprise is trying to do is make it easy for you to remove the data, but not do the actual data deletion. Komprise doesn't want to be in the business of deleting your data. So we just make it really easy for you. So we put all the data in this trash folder. You can then programmatically maybe have a process that runs and keeps this clean periodically. Or you can just come in here and check it out every now and then and just take a quick look at the files and say, yeah, these seem to meet the criteria that I've defined that I want to use for deletion of those log files, and just come in here, Control A and delete, and you remove the data.
Perfect.
Again, periodically we're going to go through and check that and keep that folder clean now as an ongoing process. Make it super simple. All right, that was the demonstration.
Clean as mud. Perfect. So again, a great tool to help administrators manage their data, manage their storage. And again, like what Glenn said, that will go out and run every 7 days, capture any old files that meet that criteria, whether that criteria is 1 year old text files, 1 year old log files, whatever it might be, student data that's 2 years old, and it'll clean that stuff right up. You don't have to worry about it any longer. So cool little function that we've got as one of the use cases. So
and that 7 days, just real quickly, that 7 days is configurable. So you can set that to, once a day, once every 2 weeks, once a month, however often you want that to run.
Yeah. So my coffee's almost done.
I wanted to mention real quick, as we're wrapping this up, anytime you want to do a catch up on these tech crunches, you can go to komprise.com/TechKrunch. And this will allow you to register for upcoming TechKrunch events, as well as view events that we've already done in the past. So you do a quick catch up on them.
Good point.
Well, it looks like we have some questions. Hold on.
Oh, there's some Q&A there? There's one. It says, what happens to the Confine when the cold file is a symbolic link? What comes to that file? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So symbolic links, if we come across a symbolic link when we're running our Confine, we skip the file. So we don't do anything with symbolic links. And the same thing as if we're archiving data, if we come across a symbolic link, we don't follow the link. We essentially ignore the symbolic links whenever we do Confine or archive or any function.
Got it. And the second, it looks like the last question, it says, how does an admin clean up the Komprise trash folder? And again, the answer to that one is there's a lot of ways of doing that. You can if it's a Unix environment, you can set up a cron job to go clean it up periodically. You can set up a backup job to back it up and then clean it up after that, or you can go manually clean it up after you inspect it. There's just a million different ways. It's just a folder that's living there called Komprise trash. Make sure that you go in and take a look at it and figure out what you want to do with that data in there. So
yeah, what I see a lot of times is customers will initially do the manual. They'll go in and look at the data, and then once they trust that it's finding the right data, then they'll set up a process to do it automatically.
I need to set one of those up for my laptop sometimes, I'll tell you. Yeah, good. Okay, cool. Right. Well, anything else, Mr. Spear?
Nothing else from here.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Everybody have a great rest of the week, a safe week, and we will we'll see you on the website for the next TechKrunch. Take care. Say bye.